Today's video is all about extended fasting. I'm going to be sharing with you my experience completing a 72-hour or 3-day fast. In this video, I'm going to be taking you through the 3 days and sharing with you the highs and the lows. I'm also going to talk about the benefits of prolonged fasting, if it is safe for women, and things you need to know before you get started. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Kate. I'm a health coach and I post videos on a high-fat, nutrient-dense way of eating. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, feel free to share, and make sure to subscribe. And make sure to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, where I share new posts every single day. Before we begin, I want to thank Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. From websites and online stores to analytics and marketing tools, Squarespace is the all-in-one platform to build a beautiful website and run your business. Head to squarespace.com/healthcoachkate to start your free trial today. All right, so I started this 72-hour fast probably 3 or 4 times over the last month. And honestly, the mental component to fasting is the hardest part. And I'm definitely going to talk about my experience with that more throughout this video. The longest fast I had completed before this one was 48 hours, and honestly, you can get a lot of benefits from a 48-hour fast. 48 to 72 hours is actually when you get the most benefits from fasting. Any longer than that, and you start to get diminishing returns. Good morning, guys. Today is the first morning of my 72-hour fast. I started last night just before 6 o'clock, and right now it is just past 9, so I'm about 15 hours in, just getting started. I'm expecting today to be a little bit difficult just because this weekend I didn't eat what I usually eat. I had a couple of cheat days. Ugh, I hate that word, but basically I just did not stick to my regular diet. And if you're new around here, I usually eat an animal-based diet, so it's mainly carnivore, about 90 to 95% animal products, meat, fish, eggs, other animal products, and then a few keto-friendly plants here and there, so avocado, olives, sometimes some other vegetables, things like that. But yeah, this weekend, that's not how I ate. I had some more carbs, some other foods that I normally wouldn't eat, a lot more sugar than normal, and I just know that after days eating like that, I don't feel my best. I'm sometimes a bit more hungry, so especially today when I'm fasting, but I'm going to push through. I know that once I get past that point where I'm really struggling, it gets a lot easier. But my plan for this fast is to only have water and electrolytes. I'm really going to try to not have any coffee. I always say that I'm not addicted to coffee, but that's what coffee addicts say. Really though, I only have 1 cup a day. Some days I don't have any, but I might need it as more of a mental thing than anything else. We'll see. I'll try to get through today, definitely, without having a coffee. What is fasting? Our bodies are always in one of 2 states. We can be in a fed state or a fasted state. When we're in a fed state, this means our body is digesting and absorbing the food from our last meal, and either using it immediately for energy or storing it for later. When we are in a fasted state, we have finished digesting and absorbing our food, and now our bodies start using our stored energy. First from our glycogen stores, and then our body fat. When you are fasting, you are not eating anything, and usually you're only drinking water. I'm really hoping that recording this is going to hold me more accountable, because I have tried to start this 72-hour fast 3 times this past month and given up. It's such a mental battle, and I'll talk about that a bit more later on today or tomorrow when I really start to struggle. But hold me accountable. Hold me accountable. Okay, so electrolytes. The main two you need to worry about when you're fasting are sodium and potassium. The amount you need will vary depending on how active you are, where you live, what the climate's like, this and that. For sodium, I have sea salt from Cell Squared. This is a really high quality salt. And then I have light salt. This is a salt alternative that uses potassium instead. Some other brands out there are entirely potassium with very little or no sodium. I was not able to find a brand that was all potassium and no sodium. So this one has sodium still in it. So I had to do a little bit of math to figure out how much sodium I was getting with the potassium and then how much additional sodium to add as well. I also have these electrolytes from LMNT. So these have, I think, 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and then 60 milligrams of magnesium. Significantly less potassium in these than sodium. So I can't just take these. I either need to take this and add some of this as well, or yeah, that's what I need to do. If I'm taking these, I need to add some more potassium. I also have a magnesium powder and just some magnesium capsules. The main two are sodium and potassium though. I have a liter of water in here. I put some of this in. I put 2 packets of this, and in this bottle, there's 2,000 milligrams sodium, 2,000 potassium. So I'll drink this morning, and then I'll fill it up again later this afternoon, and that will get me to my goal for the day. What's the difference between extended fasting and intermittent fasting? Intermittent fasting is really popular right now, especially in the low-carb community. And intermittent fasting basically just means you have a fasting schedule. You cycle in between periods of fasting and eating, between the fasted and fed state. The most popular variation is 16-8, and this is when you fast, so you don't eat anything for 16 hours every day, and then you eat all of your food for the day within an 8-hour window. Intermittent fasting is practiced daily. If you want to know more about intermittent fasting specifically, I do have a whole other video on that topic. And extended fasting is generally fasts that are longer than 24 hours. Going without food for these longer periods of time results in additional benefits that go beyond what you can get from shorter fasting windows. And because these fasts go for longer periods of time, you don't need to do them as regularly. You can do an extended fast every month, every 6 months, even once a year, and still reap maximal benefits. Now let's talk about why you might want to do an extended fast. I have an article that I'm going to cite titled "The 5 Stages of Intermittent Fasting and Prolonged Fasting" that comes from the Life App's website, which is a fasting app. By 12 hours, you've entered the metabolic state called ketosis. In this state, your body starts to break down and burn fat. By 18 hours, you've switched to fat-burning mode and are generating significant ketones. Within 24 hours, your cells are increasingly recycling old components and breaking down misfolded proteins linked to Alzheimer's and other diseases. This is a process called autophagy. By 48 hours without calories, or even with very few calories, carbs, or protein, your growth hormone level is up to 5 times as high as when you started your fast. By 54 hours, your insulin has dropped to its lowest level point since you started fasting, and your body is becoming increasingly insulin sensitive. By 72 hours, your body is breaking down old immune cells and generating new ones. To summarize the benefits, number 1 is ketosis. Extended fasting will allow you to get into a deeper state of ketosis. When you are fasting, ketone bodies generated by your liver partly replace glucose as fuel for your brain as well as your other organs. And this is the main reason why people experience mental clarity when they're in ketosis. Ketones are a cleaner burning energy source. Number 2 is autophagy. Autophagy is when your body cleans up and recycles damaged cells. This can reduce your disease risk, strengthen your immune system, and increase longevity. Autophagy has also been known to help prevent loose skin, which is beneficial for people who are in the process of losing a lot of weight. Autophagy usually starts between the 18 to 20 hour fasting mark, and maximum benefits are usually experienced between 48 to 72 hours. Number 3 is blood sugar regulation. If you are diabetic or pre-diabetic, extended fasting can be extremely beneficial. Studies have shown that occasional fasting can help reverse type 2 diabetes, with participants getting off their insulin entirely. But please know that if you are currently on any medication for your blood sugar or insulin, before you start any fasting routine, make sure to talk to your doctor. Your need for these medications can reduce so quickly when you're fasting, and it can be dangerous if you are still taking the same amounts of these medications when you don't need them. Number 4, insulin sensitivity. Fasting allows you to become more insulin sensitive, which is the opposite of insulin resistant. If you are insulin resistant, your body is not responding to insulin the way it should. Basically, your cells are rejecting insulin, so you will always have high levels of insulin circulating. This can make it hard to lose weight, this can cause fatigue, and this can also increase your disease risk. Insulin levels raise when we eat. So if you're not eating, if you're fasting, they start to lower and you begin to reverse insulin resistance. Number 5, hunger hormones reset. Ghrelin, the hormone responsible for signaling hunger, becomes entrained to normal eating times. And once you start fasting, its levels and secretion change. You might expect that the longer you go without eating, the more and more this hormone would increase, but that's not the case. One small study from the European Journal of Endocrinology concluded, in a fasting condition, growth hormone, insulin, and glucose do not appear to be involved in ghrelin regulation. In addition, we found that ghrelin is secreted in a pulsatile pattern. The variation of ghrelin independently of meals in fasting subjects supports previous observations that it is the brain that is primarily involved in the regulation of meal initiation. Our hunger cues are more based on routine than actual hunger, and they can actually be significantly impacted by a lack of sleep, which is something I talked about in a previous video. So once you break an extended fast, a lot of people find they are really in tune with their true hunger. And of course, fat loss is a benefit of extended fasting. And yes, this is partly because you're not eating, so all of your energy is coming from your fat stores. And yes, part of the water you lose during this extended fast is going to be water weight, which you will gain back when you start eating again. But as I just mentioned, if you are insulin resistant, it can be hard to lose weight. And fasting reduces insulin resistance. So the benefits of fasting as it pertains to fat loss are not only short-term, but long-term as well. All right, we are almost 48 hours in. 48 hours is my fasting record, so almost have it beat. Not that it should be a competition, but it's a competition with myself. Also, yes, I am wearing the same hoodie I was wearing yesterday. This is one of my at-home, comfy, lounging around hoodies that I wear for several days when I'm at home, and then I switch to another one. Anyways, point is, don't judge me. Update on the fast. Earlier today, I was struggling a little bit. I was just feeling really tired and sluggish. I didn't do a workout or anything this morning. I did go on a pretty long walk for about an hour, And then I've just been filming videos and editing videos, a lot of sitting around, which is good and bad. I'm probably going to go for another walk now because it's almost getting to the time when I would be eating dinner, so I want to distract myself during that time. As I said at the start of this video, fasting is so mental. Within the first day, my brain was just coming up with all the excuses in the book. What was the point of even fasting? Why was I doing this? Why wouldn't I just eat? This is silly. If I do eat, no one would even know. Literally, I had that thought. But I can't lie to you guys. I can't lie to you. This is holding me accountable. I just finished editing a video. I'm just waiting for it to export. I'm going to go for a decent walk while this happens, and then I think I'm just gonna come back home, take my laptop into bed, do the thumbnail, upload the video, and do the description, all that jazz, and then watch some TV and go to bed. Tips for starting an extended fast. Before we get into the tips, I'm going to take a quick moment to tell you about today's sponsor, Squarespace. I use Squarespace for all of my online needs. My website, my online store, my email list. Squarespace does it all. One thing I love about Squarespace is how easy it is to use. They have numerous templates that are easy to switch between, and their style editor makes customizing layouts, fonts, and colors simple. It is really easy to get started, and you do not even have to enter your credit card details in order to start a free trial. Head to squarespace.com/healthcoachkate, and when you're ready to launch, use code healthcoachkate to save 10% off your first order. Thanks again to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Electrolytes. These are so important. Some people don't take them when they're fasting, but I find that it makes it a million times easier. This is also the reason why some people include bone broth during their fast. Even though it does contain some calories, it is very rich in electrolytes. Make sure to salt your water, and you can also add potassium as well, but make sure to not overdo it with the potassium. The upper recommended amount per day is 4,700 milligrams. Do not go over that. Salt you don't have to worry about because any excess salt can just be excreted by the body, but too much potassium can actually be dangerous. Stay busy. This is the hard one because I know for myself personally, I use food as a form of procrastination. So when I don't want to do something, I go and I open the fridge. Taking that option away, I no longer have that excuse and that form of procrastination. Write a long list of everything that you could complete during the day and tick this off as you go along. If you are at work or you're out of the house, this might even make the fast easier. Just really try to always be doing something. Keep your mind off food. Set a goal. Set a time frame and do everything in your power to stick to it. Now, of course, life happens. Sometimes something will come up. So use your discretion if it's worth it to continue the fast in these situations, or if you're better off postponing it for now. And as I said before, our hunger is more based on routine than actual hunger. So keep that in mind when your mealtime comes, your stomach grumbles. Is it actual hunger or is it just your routine? Take it easy. Now, I say to keep busy, and that is really important, but you don't want to push it when it comes to exercise. Yes, you can still exercise and do stuff during your fast, especially day one. You're probably gonna feel pretty great, still going off your energy from the previous day, but don't push yourself too much. Walking is a great form of exercise that's low intensity that you can still incorporate if you want to get out, if you want to keep moving. Have an accountability buddy. During this fast, I messaged my friend Jason on Instagram, and that did wonders for holding myself accountable. Having someone knowing you're fasting, someone who is supportive, can help to keep you on track. All right, we are 4 hours out from the end of the fast. Oh, this has been very hard mentally. I have felt very unproductive the last few days. I've been trying to keep busy, but yeah, it has been really, really hard. I found a lot of times I couldn't focus on what I was doing, so I ended up doing a lot more walking and just sort of procrastinating, walking around the house, taking a shower, just doing random things. But we are almost there. I'm thinking within the next 2 hours, I'm probably going to make a bone broth. It's always important when you break a longer fast to not go straight into a big meal. Otherwise, your digestion is, it won't be fun. Let's put it that way. So I'm going to have probably a cup of bone broth. I might crack an egg in there and yeah, have that. And then a couple hours later, I will officially break and end my fast. One question I am often asked when it comes to fasting is if it is safe for women. A lot of the studies done on fasting are done entirely on men, which raises a fair question, especially when it comes to women's hormones. My friend Christy, who is a science writer, shared a post on Instagram addressing this topic. She referenced 3 studies where women completed a 3-day fast who are of normal body weight, and they found that it was unlikely to disturb a woman's menstrual cycle. However, in women who were lean, so less than 20% body fat, one study found these women did experience a disturbed menstrual cycle. If you are a woman who is of normal or excess body fat, a 48 or 72-hour fast here and there is probably not going to negatively impact you. But if you are someone who is of a low body weight, then an extended fast might do more harm than good. If you enjoyed this video, you can check out my video on intermittent fasting, which I will link here. You can also catch up on my most recent upload, which is here. And if you want to get started on a keto or carnivore diet, you can check out my coaching programs here. Thanks again, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.